February 19th, 2013. A hotel maintenance worker in downtown Los Angeles climbs to the rooftop water tank to investigate a guest complaint. The water pressure has been low. Guests have reported the water tasting strange, dark. What he finds inside that tank will set off one of the most disturbing, most debated, and most haunting mysteries in modern true crime history. Her name was Elisa Lam. She was 21 years old, and she had been missing for 19 days. But that's not what made the world stop. What made the world stop was the video.
Elisa Lam was a university student from Vancouver, British Columbia, a writer, a blogger, the kind of person who documented her inner world in careful detail, her fears, her joys, her fascination with the strange and the beautiful. She had been diagnosed with bipolar disorder and depression. She managed it. She traveled. She lived out loud. In late January 2013, Elisa embarked on what she called her West Coast tour, a solo trip down the California coast, San Diego, Santa Cruz, and finally, Los Angeles. She checked into the Cecil Hotel on January 26th. The Cecil, a place with its own shadow. Built in 1924, this 14-story hotel in the heart of Skid Row had been home to serial killers, suicides, and decades of tragedy so thick it had its own name, the Hotel of Death. But Elisa didn't know all of that. She was just looking for a cheap place to sleep. She was supposed to check out on February 1st. She never did. When Elisa failed to check out or make contact, the hotel flagged it. The LAPD was called. A missing persons report was filed. Her family in Canada, frantic. Her blog, silent. For 19 days, police searched the Cecil Hotel, floor by floor, room by room. They searched the rooftop. They checked the water tanks. They found nothing. And then, on February 14th, 2013, Valentine's Day, the LAPD made a decision that would change everything. They released the elevator surveillance footage to the public. Within 24 hours, it had been viewed millions of times. And none of those millions of people could explain what they were watching. The footage was recorded on the night of January 31st, 2013. The last night Elisa Lam was ever seen alive. It shows her entering the elevator, pressing buttons, multiple buttons, all of them. The doors don't close. She steps out into the hallway, looks left, looks right, steps back in, presses herself into the corner. Then, she steps back out. And here is where the video breaks the human mind. She begins to move her hands, slowly, deliberately. Her fingers curl and extend in patterns that seem purposeful, like sign language, like ritual, like a conversation with something the camera cannot see. She disappears down the hallway. The elevator doors finally close. She is never seen. The internet exploded. Forums, Reddit, true crime communities, paranormal boards. Every corner of the web had a theory. Was she on drugs? Was someone chasing her? Was the footage edited? Was she communicating with a ghost? Was the hotel itself somehow doing something to her? And there was one detail that made it worse. The elevator buttons. She had pressed every single floor, as if she was trying to hide or escape, or as if she no longer understood how elevators worked. Three major theories emerged, and each one is more disturbing than the last. Theory 1, a medical episode. Elisa had bipolar disorder. Some episodes can produce dissociation, paranoia, and erratic behavior. Her medication, found in her room, had not been taken. Without it, a severe episode was medically possible. This became the official position of the LAPD. Theory 2, foul play. Elisa had reportedly complained to hotel staff that her original roommates were making her uncomfortable. She was moved to a solo room. Was someone following her? The hotel's rooftop was locked. The water tanks were covered with heavy lids, latched from the outside. How does a 90-pound woman open a latched water tank lid, climb inside, and close it from within? Theory 3, the one the internet couldn't shake. Something darker. Something the cameras caught the edges of but couldn't name. And then there was the tuberculosis outbreak. While Elisa's body lay undiscovered in the water tank, a tuberculosis outbreak struck the Skid Row neighborhood directly below the Cecil Hotel. The name of the diagnostic test being used at the time? Lam Elisa. The internet lost its mind. On February 19th, 19 days after she was last seen, Elisa Lam's body was recovered from one of the Cecil Hotel's rooftop water tanks. She was fully clothed. There were no signs of trauma, no drugs other than her prescribed medication in her system, no signs of sexual assault. The tank lid was closed. The LAPD ruled her death an accidental drowning, with the caveat that her bipolar disorder was a significant contributing factor. Case closed. Except it wasn't. Not for the internet. Not for her family. Not for anyone who would watch that video. Because the questions remained. How do you accidentally climb a locked rooftop, navigate multiple access points, open a heavy latch tank, and drown, leaving the hatch closed behind you? No one has ever answered that satisfactorily. Elisa Lam's Tumblr blog remained active after her death. Her scheduled posts continued to publish, words she had written while alive, surfacing into a world that was only now learning her name. People read them. Thousands, then hundreds of thousands. She wrote about loneliness and about wonder, about being afraid of her own mind and about loving the world anyway, about the strange joy of traveling alone. She wrote, "I don't want to just survive. I want to live." The Cecil Hotel eventually rebranded. They renamed it Stay on Main, cleared out the history, new paint, new sign. It didn't matter. The building still stands. The water tanks are still on the roof. And somewhere in a Los Angeles coroner's archive, the official file reads, "Accidental drowning." Elisa Lam's parents sued the hotel. The case was settled out of court, terms undisclosed. The LAPD closed the investigation. Netflix made a documentary, Crime Scene: The Vanishing at the Cecil Hotel, in 2021. It broke records. It introduced a new generation to Elisa's story. And the elevator video kept circulating. It still does. Here is what we know for certain. A 21-year-old woman traveled alone to Los Angeles in the winter of 2013. She checked into a hotel with a dark history. She was last seen on a surveillance camera behaving in ways no one has fully explained. 19 days later, she was found in a water tank on the roof. The official ruling? Accidental. The unanswered question? How? Elisa Lam loved books and travel and the way cities feel at night. She struggled with her mental health and wrote about it honestly. She wanted, more than anything, to live a full life. She deserved that life. If you're struggling with your mental health, please reach out. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is available 24 hours a day. You are not alone.